So today we're going to do something pretty interesting. We're going to build a bridge between two worlds that seem miles apart: ancient apocalyptic literature and a really powerful modern spiritual testimony. We're about to explore a connection that stretches back thousands of years, suggesting a pattern that, well, might be just as real today as it was way back then. And that brings us to the big question for this whole explainer. What if the ways heaven was thought to communicate in ancient times, what if they aren't just stories in old books? What if those exact same patterns are still happening right now in our world? So think about it like this. On one side, you've got the world of Second Temple literature. These ancient texts, jam-packed with angels, heavenly journeys, and divine scribes. And on the other side, we have the deeply personal and modern story of Mark Chard, who started having these extraordinary experiences after his twin brother passed away. We're going to dive into how these two seemingly separate worlds might actually be echoing each other. Okay, first things first. We need to lay down the ancient groundwork. To really get the modern parallels, we have to look at the original blueprint, and that comes from two major texts, the Book of Enoch and the Book of Jubilees. So, what's the deal with the Book of Enoch? Well, it takes this one single super mysterious verse from Genesis about a guy who walked with God, and it just blows it up into this epic cosmic journey. Enoch gets taken up through the heavens, he learns all these cosmic secrets from angels, and then he's given this incredibly important job to be a heavenly scribe, to write down everything he sees for the rest of us. So he's not just a prophet, right? He's a go-between, a cosmic interpreter. And here's the thing, this pattern isn't just a one-off. You see it again in the Book of Jubilees, where Moses gets the divine law from an angel. Both of these texts really hammer home a few key ideas: that revelation is a continuous process, not a one-time thing. It's delivered by intermediaries, like angels, to specific chosen people, who then have the job of writing it all down. All right, so keeping that ancient blueprint in mind, let's fast forward a couple thousand years to our modern story, the testimony of Mark and Darren Chard. This is where those patterns we just talked about start to look very, very familiar. So it's December 2020. After the absolutely heartbreaking loss of his twin brother Darren, Mark Chard's life takes a dramatic turn. He starts to report a series of unexplained events, phenomena that felt completely purposeful, like they were meant for him. And we're not talking about just some vague feelings here. The things he was reporting were super specific and all over the map, from images and photos that would actually move to rays of colored light appearing when he prayed, even words like love flashing on a TV screen. According to the testimony, it all felt less like a bunch of random events and more like a real attempt at communication. And then someone else enters the picture, a psychic medium named Kenny Corus. Now, he also reported witnessing Darren's presence, totally independent of Mark, but he delivers a message that just snaps our two worlds together with incredible clarity. He tells Mark, quote, "Read Enoch, it's your destiny." I mean, wow, that is almost a perfect echo of the divine missions we see in the ancient texts. Okay, so this is where it all comes together. This is the heart of what we're looking at today. We're going to lay these two stories, the ancient and the modern, right next to each other. And the source material we're looking at suggests the parallels are, well, they're more than just interesting, they seem to be archetypal. And when you lay it out like this, man, the parallels are just striking. Look at this. In the ancient pattern, you have Enoch as the chosen vessel. In the modern parallel, it's Mark Chard. The intermediary, who delivers the message, shifts from archangels to Mark's late brother, Darren. The confirming witness moves from entire communities of scribes to the medium, Kenny Corus. And that divine commission to write it all down, it's mirrored in Mark's own work to author theological texts based on his experience. It's the same structure, just echoing across thousands of years. So the big idea here is this concept of a recurring archetype. The suggestion isn't that this is some weird one-off event. It's that the fundamental pattern of how divine communication is believed to work has reappeared, right here, in a modern context. Okay, so we've seen the parallels, we've seen the patterns, but why does any of this matter? What's the bigger picture here? What are the implications of putting an ancient text right next to a modern spiritual testimony? Well, for scholars, this comparison actually opens up a few different doors. Theologically, it supports the idea that divine communication isn't just something that happened way back then. From an anthropological perspective, it's a fascinating case study of how these ancient spiritual roles can pop up again in someone's lived experience today.
And it even kind of touches on science, raising questions about these reported phenomena of light and energy that, at least in theory, could be investigated.
When you really step back and look at it, this presents all these stories, Enoch, Jubilees, Mark, Darren, Kenny, as part of one single living commentary on the relationship between heaven and earth. It frames Revelation not as a book that's been closed, but as a story that's still being written. Now, we need to be really clear about something. The point of this comparison isn't to replace or rewrite Scripture, not at all. Instead, it's about highlighting how a modern experience can resonate with the very same patterns of revelation that are described in those ancient traditions. It's about recognizing the pattern, not competing with the original text. And so, we're going to end right there with a question for you to mull over. By looking at these echoes across millennia, it kind of invites us to listen a little more closely and to ask ourselves, if these patterns of communication really are timeless, then how might heaven still be speaking today?